Coming up, we take a moment to remember legendary ASU football coach Frank Kush. I go one-on-one with Sun Devil alum and Bellator MMA fighter Ryan Bader. And there's more to being a third-grade coach than meets the eye. Welcome everybody to Cronkite Sports Now on Facebook Live. I'm Faith Phares. We begin with revered ASU coach Frank Kush, who passed away on June 22nd at 88 years old. Tonight, family, friends, and fans of Kush will gather in Tempe to celebrate his life with a public viewing. Cronkite News reporter Danielle Lincecum takes a look at his career at ASU.
Kush arrived at ASU in 1958 and amassed a school record 176 wins in nearly 22 years. He led the team to 2 perfect seasons and 9 conference titles, and won 16 of the 21 battles against arch rival Arizona.
Arizona's Wildcats.
You know, you always hated the U of A. It was a great rivalry. It's really great if you win more than you lose.
Frank Kush preparing for his
Kush represents the most successful era of Arizona State football and was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. But his career wasn't without controversy. He was fired in 1979 amid fallout regarding allegations that he punched a former punter and interfered with the university's investigation, but was acquitted 2 years later. ASU wasn't the end of his coaching career. He also coached in the NFL for 2 years with the Baltimore Colts and returned to Arizona to coach the USFL Arizona Outlaws. He remained a beloved figure in the Arizona State community and served as a special assistant to the athletic director from 2000 until his passing.
That leads us into our tweet of the day. Ahead of the Kush viewing tonight, Arizona Governor Doug Ducey paid tribute to Coach Kush. Earlier today, he announced in a tweet, "In his memory, I have declared today Frank Kush Day in Arizona. Please keep his family in your prayers. R.I.P. Coach." The Kush family has invited all ASU fans to tonight's public viewing. It will run from 5 to 9 p.m. at All Saints Catholic Newman Center in Tempe. Kush will also be honored by ASU during preseason camp and at a regular season football game. On June 24th, ASU alum Ryan Bader made his Bellator MMA debut with a bang. He won the Bellator Light Heavyweight Championship when he defeated Phil Davis at Madison Square Garden. I caught up with Bader before the fight as he left for New York City. Former ASU wrestler Ryan Bader went from the winner of the Ultimate Fighter to one of the top 10 light heavyweights of the 21st century. He competed in 20 fights in UFC, ranking in the top 4 in the nation for light heavyweight division. But he never got a chance to fight for a championship belt in UFC. One of the big reasons he fought in his first Bellator MMA fight Saturday.
It's not about just the money, it's about opportunity also. And so for me to come in there and fight for the Bellator title is a huge opportunity for me that I've always wanted.
Before deciding to switch to Bellator, Bader met with Bellator management and had an open discussion on not only his own future, but the future of Bellator.
I felt so good about that, and I felt they had the fighters' interests in mind, let alone just a straight business attitude about it. And the next day, after I signed, they come out that they're throwing a fight in Madison Square Garden in New York City, which is huge, and just reassured me and reaffirmed that everything that I was doing was the right thing.
Bader's former ASU wrestling coach Tom Ortiz says Bader's work ethic and dedication are among some of his greatest assets as he makes the transition into Bellator.
I'd love to see his progression. It's great. He's a 2-time All-American, Pac-10 champ multiple times, I believe 3, graduated from ASU, so to see him achieve like that it makes Sun Devil Nation feel good.
It's refreshing for me because I feel like I can be myself. I can go out there and just kind of let loose and have fun with it instead of being in a box, basically.
Saturday's fight was the first of a 6-fight deal Bader signed with Bellator. Bellator president Scott Coker says he expects Bader to defend his light heavyweight title against King Mo sometime this year. In Chandler, Faith Phares, Cronkite News. Bader won his Bellator debut on a split decision, giving him the title of light heavyweight champion of Bellator MMA. Now on to baseball. Diamondbacks third baseman Jake Lamb was recently named one of the D-backs 4 All-Star representatives. But when Lamb and his teammates step up to bat in the chalk box next to third base, there stands another person who, while not an All-Star, plays a pivotal role in the team's success. Cronkite News reporter Raynert Toff caught up with D-backs third base coach Tony Perez-Chica to understand what it's like to be a base runner's last line of defense.
Diamondbacks third base coach Tony Perez-Chica is the man at third base every game, giving signs to the players in the batter's box and keeping an eye on his base runners. But it's his preparation before every series that makes his job more difficult than it appears.
Knowing the speed of our players, number one, that's the first thing you have to know to do well at third base, to help them out and aid them out in base running.
I'm always thinking score. When we're on the bases, we're aggressive and we're always running hard. So, Tony's there to stop us if we are, going to be out by a lot.
I'm their last eyes behind their head to help them in making a decision whether they can come to third or go to home.
Besides knowing the speed of his base runners, Tony must consider other factors when looking over the team's film. Who is batting? Who is pitching? Who is in the outfield? But there is one factor that is paramount to Tony's judgment.
The biggest thing for me is knowing the arm strength of the outfielders. If I know that, I know the angles, if I get a good read on the ball, and I think that our player at first or second has a chance to score, then I'll take the chance to try to get him in.
Tony is also in charge of the defensive placement of the infielders. Even before the season starts, Tony is preparing his players for regular season play.
We've been working hard since spring training, whether it's early ground balls or extra work. We go over the defensive positioning before every series where we want to play the hitters. So I know Tony does a lot of film study and coming up with our charts of where we need to play guys, and we're always constantly adjusting. So, there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to position our infielders and get us ready to get the outs.
For former manager and third base coach under Tom Kelly, bench coach Ron Gardenhire says the most important part of the relationship between the two is having the same mindset throughout the game.
More than anything else, you got to try to think along with the manager. When I was under Tom Kelly, who was a great manager, coaching third base, at times he would tell me try to think along with me, and at times he would say, don't think along with me, just do what I want you to do. It's not an easy position. There's a lot of pressure on you. Third base, honestly, when you're coaching third base, you honestly feel like a player again because you are involved.
In Phoenix, I'm Raynert Toff, Cronkite News.
With all the responsibilities a third base coach performs, Perez-Chica says that once you do it, you have a newfound respect for those who have done it before you. Tonight, the D-backs take on the Los Angeles Dodgers, who have the best record in National League, in Game 2 of their 3-game series. The first pitch is at 7:10, and the starters for the game are Zach Godley and Alex Wood. The D-backs are hoping to shake off last night's 4-3 loss to the Dodgers and are now 3.5 games out of first place in the National League. That's all for this episode of Cronkite Sports Now on Facebook Live. Thanks so much for joining us. Check out our stories from across the valley in the Cronkite Sports section on ArizonaSports.com. For top news stories around Arizona, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.